You know that feeling, like your entire workday is just one long, frustrating hunt for information? Well, that's what we call context loss. And in this explainer, we're going to connect all the dots, right from that daily grind to a future where your work is finally about moving forward. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to really dig into the context problem, the thing that makes work feel so hard. Then we'll talk about this huge shift, moving away from just searching for stuff to actually knowing it. After that, we'll look at how a solution like Mavante actually pulls this off, what it means for the future of work, and most importantly, what your path forward could look like. Okay, so let's just dive right in with a feeling I think we all know way too well. Work just feels hard, right? But what if the problem isn't actually the work you're doing? What if the real enemy is this constant invisible battle you're fighting just to find the context you need to even get started? I mean, just think about it for a second. Every single email you write, every project brief you start, it's like you're starting from scratch, right? From a blank slate. We spend so much of our time rebuilding context that already exists. It's buried somewhere in the company, scattered across a million different apps and documents. And yeah, this timeline, it perfectly captures what we call the 15-minute context hunt. It's this brutal cycle that so many of us go through dozens of times a day. And when you add it all up, it costs companies billions in lost momentum. But honestly, the real cost is human. It just steals our professional dignity? It turns what should be meaningful work into the soul-crushing administrative drudgery. So, okay, that's the problem. It's a big one. What's the solution then? Well, it's not another app. It's actually a fundamental shift in how we even think about information. We've got to move away from just endlessly searching for raw data and get to a place of genuine knowing. Because let's be real, raw information just isn't enough anymore. It's overwhelming. What we actually need is synthesized intelligence, something that helps us understand what matters, why it matters, and most importantly, what to do about it. And this is absolutely crucial. This shift, it's not just about getting more stuff done faster. It's about equity. It's about fairness. When knowledge is actually centralized and easy to get to, it levels the playing field for everybody. It means caregivers, remote workers, junior folks, they all have the same shot at contributing as anyone else. And that, right there, is where a solution like Movante comes into the picture. It was built from the ground up to engineer this exact shift, from searching to knowing. So how does it do it? Well, Movante basically tackles this with 4 core capabilities that all work together. First, it intelligently pulls together context from all those scattered systems you use every day. Second, it preserves your organization's institutional memory, so all that valuable knowledge doesn't just walk out the door when people leave. Third, it helps you tailor your message for different people. And the result of all that? It's a massive confidence multiplier. But honestly, the real impact here, it's personal, it's emotional. When you have the context you need right when you need it, it completely transforms how you feel about your work. It's all about restoring that feeling of being smart, of being capable, and of really, truly contributing. Okay, so let's peek under the hood for a sec. This is all built on a really powerful foundation, starting with something called an enterprise context ledger. Just think of it as a perfect organizational memory. It's an unchangeable record that never ever forgets a key decision, a relationship, or a piece of knowledge. And that ledger is powered by the context assembly engine. This is kind of the brains of the operation. It's the intelligence layer that analyzes everything and figures out what truly matters for the specific thing you're trying to do right now. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how is this different from other AI tools I've heard about? And that's a great question. A tool like ChatGPT is amazing, right? But it has no institutional memory. It starts fresh every single time. Then you have copilots, which are often stuck inside one single document or app. Myvante is different. It's designed to build a lasting memory by connecting the dots across all your systems. That's what really sets it apart. And of course, all of this is built on a rock-solid, enterprise-grade foundation. I'm talking privacy by design from the very beginning. It respects all your company's rules and governance, and it's built to scale up and handle millions of interactions without breaking a sweat. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. What happens when you solve this context problem, not just for one person, but for a whole organization? Well, you're not just making things a little more efficient, you actually start to shape the entire future of work. Yeah, you start building a future where communication stops being friction and starts being pure forward motion. Imagine a place where your brain power, your cognitive work, is amplified by this incredible contextual intelligence. A place where leaders are actively growing the company's memory, not letting it fade away. Where they're enabling leadership at all levels, building legacies that last, and making excellence something you can actually sustain. So if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. The next big productivity revolution, it's not about working harder or faster. It's about working with complete context. Because when you have the right information at exactly the right time, everything changes. Suddenly, communication is effortless, decisions are confident, and innovation, it becomes truly sustainable. That right there, that's the promise of a context-aware future. And look, this is about way more than just buying another tool. It's about fundamentally transforming your organization. So what's the path forward? Well, it actually starts with a really simple but super powerful first step, just awareness. Just start noticing the hidden cost of missing context in your own daily work. And then start asking some big questions, like what would actually change if every single person in my organization had perfect context? What could we really achieve if all our communication became forward motion instead of a source of friction? And maybe the biggest one of all, what could you build if your institutional memory never ever faded away? What kind of legacy could you create if every leader passed on real wisdom, not just a list of quarterly results? See, these are the kinds of questions that spark real transformation. Because once you see the context gap, you can't unsee it. The future of work is context-aware, and the future for your organization? Well, that can start today. If you're ready to dive deeper, you can download the Mavante white paper, The Future of Context-Aware Work, over at intelligentcontext.ai. Because, look, at the end of the day, the question isn't if organizations are going to adopt this kind of intelligence, it's when. So the real question for you is, will your organization lead the way, or will you be forced to play catch-up? That choice is yours. Just remember, your work isn't hard. It's the missing context.